Hi, discovery seems to be very easy. You just press a button and after some time of waiting you get a database full of data about your managed environment. That seems to be easy. Well, unfortunately the problem is that it's not just quantity, it's quality that matters. And today we will look at what quality really means in discovery, what its dimensions are, and why it's so important for discovery to have good data quality.
Welcome to the JDisk YouTube channel.
In software engineering, quality is well known in the form of so-called quality trees, even standardized in ISO 25010. But that same is true also for data engineering. So a data scientist should also know about the data that he's working with. That's why for discovery we also want to look at data quality. And we look at the following 6 qualities among the many that you could look at. And these are timeliness, accuracy, completeness, consistency, validity, and uniqueness. And we will look at what these qualities are and why they are important for discovery in the following sections. The first quality that we look at is timeliness. What does that mean? Well, that means that your data that you need is available if you need. So it depends on the expectation of the user to have certain data available for the task at hand, and then it should be available. If that is not the case, this quality is not fulfilled. Now, having the data available when you need it means your discovery needs to be speedy and scalable. You should be able to run multiple discovery jobs at the same time, so that the amount of devices that you can discover per minute or hour is very high. For example, JDisk Discovery can discover up to 2000 devices per minute. So the next thing is you usually have discovery jobs. So you run discovery regularly, every day, once a week, every hour, multiple times per hour, depending on which networks you want to discover. You might have a DM set, your normal office network, an enterprise backend, and you might want to discover these in different intervals. Some more often, some less often. Your discovery tool should allow you that. Also, for example, JDisk Discovery allows you to make blackout dates or times, so that when you run a backup in your network where the network is already saturated, that you don't run a discovery during that time, etc. That's important. The other thing is you might have different environments, like your intranet versus your cloud environment. Of course, you should be able to run multiple discovery servers in parallel so that you can, for example, later on aggregate the data in a CMDB, as we discussed in our first video that we can link at the end here. The most obvious dimension of quality is accuracy. That means your data is correct. Of course, you want that your data reflects reality as good as possible. You don't want to have invalid or wrong data in your database, because that will, as we saw in the first video, propagate to other systems like the CMDB. JDisk Discovery does a self-assessment of its data quality and shows that for the different discovery areas as colored bars, so you see whether your data quality is high or whether it's poor. And for each of these areas you can look at the set of recommendations that you can do in order to improve your data quality. For example, add credentials for the various protocols, or change settings or configuration of your device. With the explanation menu you can even get practical hints on how to do that for the corresponding setting. And that really helps to improve accuracy of your data in the end. Well, how can it be that discovery delivers inaccurate information at all? Well, that depends, of course, where the discovery can find this information on the system. Suppose you're using on Windows WMI or you use SNMP protocol, and there can be unmaintained configuration in the agents that deliver this information. Or you might be running an old version of WMI, such that a system that has 2 processors with 2 cores is represented as having 4 physical processors. Well, you might argue that who cares about that? It's still 4 logical CPUs. Well, it does make a difference if your software licensing, for example, of an Oracle server does depend on the number of physical processors that you have. so that you would have to pay more than you should, or even you're thinking you're safe with your license you have, the other way around kind of, and when there's an audit, they find out that you actually have too few licenses for your physical hardware, and then yes, you have a compliance issue and you have a problem. So it does matter what sources a discovery system uses, whether it only relies on WMI or SNMP, or whether the discovery tool looks also at the BIOS, for example, where it has maybe the more accurate information and can check these two and find out whether there's a discrepancy or not. Let's look at the next dimension of quality, and that is completeness. And that's the question, are your expectations fulfilled that you have a comprehensive list of devices, and do you have all the details for each device that you need for your work? As we saw in the video on operational security, that can make a big difference. It is very easy to miss some server, and the discovery tool should help you with diagnostics and troubleshooting functionality to find these cases where there are missing credentials or devices that couldn't be discovered because there's a parsing error, so that you have devices where details are missing, so-called unknown devices, which have not been recognized, or whether there was a problem with a protocol that is used during discovery, or there are duplicate devices that have not been correctly normalized. As you see in these screens here, JDisk Discovery provides you all these reports to quickly find these errors, these protocols, status problems, device status problems, unknown devices, parsing errors, etc., so that you can one by one fix your quality issues and get a better quality in your next discovery job that is scheduled. The next dimension of quality is consistency, and with it the question, does the data stored in one place match to the relevant data stored elsewhere? For example, is the data between two servers that do discovery consistent? Or is the data consistent between discovery and the CMDB? As we saw in the video on the CMDB integration, the CMDB should be the single source of truth, so that all the decisions that are based on this data are good ones. Next, we have the dimension validity, which answers the question, is the information in a specific format that you expect, or is it in a usable format? And does it follow your recommendations, your business rules? Now, normally the object model of a discovery tool should do some normalization and provide you the information always in the same format, in the same way. And that should ensure this validity. The last dimension of quality is uniqueness. So this seems obvious, but it's really important that there is only one instance in the information base for a certain object in reality. Because otherwise you might have two and you don't know which one is the correct one, according to accuracy. Because otherwise one person might look at the one piece of information and one look at the other piece of information, and they are not consistent. So for example, JDisk Discovery has a nice function, a report that you can open, which shows you all the duplicate devices that were found. For example, a system that has the same host name in a virtual machine and found as a router, for example, that couldn't be matched together automatically. If you want to get more details and examples, practical examples about data quality in discovery, I can recommend you a white paper that you find on the JDisk homepage under support documentation white paper section, where you can download it, and this link is also linked below the video. So you see, in discovery, data quality is much more important than just quantity, and functionality or interfaces and integrations that there are. It's really about these 6 qualities: that you have the data available when you need it, timeliness, that the data is correct, accuracy, that you have a complete coverage, that you know that whether you have the completeness, consistency between discovery and, for example, CMDB, validity of the data, and uniqueness, that you do not get undetected duplicates. If you agree to this conclusion, I would recommend you that you look at JDisk Discovery and go to the homepage at www.jdisk.com. If you found the content in this video interesting and valuable for you, it is probably super easy for you to give us a like and subscribe to this channel. And don't forget to ring the bell so that you get notifications of more of the upcoming videos in this and other series on this channel. Thank you very much, your Peter.